Hi friends, my name's Nadine and welcome to my ridiculous little corner of the internet. I'm awful at doing catch-ups. It is March the 31st in the evening and these are the films that I watched in February. I'm so sorry. I must get better at doing this. So yeah, these are the films that I watched like a month to 2 months ago at this stage, so let's really hope I can remember something about them. Good luck everyone. Here we go, there are 17 films I think. So the first film that I watched in February was a Netflix film. So at the beginning of the month we decided to get Netflix back. I don't really stream a lot. I tend to be a physical media kind of girl, as you may have noticed. But everyone in the house was moaning about not having things like that, so it's like, fine, do it. Get Netflix. And I watched We Have a Ghost. Now, it was late at night. I wanted something easy. I watched the trailer and it had loads of Jennifer Coolidge in, and she's cool, so I thought, oh, this is going to be a fun film. She was barely in it. So it was about this family. They moved to this new house, in fact, this whole new area. The dad's he's a bit of a loser, you know, he's one of these, he doesn't get a job, he's going to come up with the next big thing and make his millions, you know the sort, and keeps failing miserably, so his long-suffering family are forced to move again. There are two teenage sons in the family and the younger one is really not up for this move. But then he makes friends with the middle-aged ghost that happens to be living in his house. This ghost who can't speak, who has no memory of who he is or how he died or any of that. He doesn't know why he's there. So the father, as soon as he finds out that there is a ghost living in the house, he immediately tries to monetize it and exploit this poor dead guy. But the son is intent on finding out who he is and, you know, why he's trapped there, basically. I gave it 2.5 stars. It was watchable, but I would never watch it again. And I wouldn't really recommend it. Like, there's a lot better out there, to be fair. But yeah, We Have a Ghost. Next, I watched a much more successful film for me. And it was De La Mort, Cemetery Man. This follows, what was his name? I forget. Francesco De La Mort, played by Rupert Everett. Oh gosh, I always forget to cover the boobies. Jesus Christ. So anyway, this follows Francesco De La Morte, who is like a custodian of this graveyard where the dead rise, and he has to put them back in their place, essentially. It is extremely stylized, very beautiful to watch. There is a love story that runs through this film, and honestly, Rupert Everett, the casting director, did an amazing job. He is divine in this. I didn't know until I was watching the special features that the writer of this was the person who wrote the Dylan Dog comics, but now that I do know that, it's like glaringly obvious. But yeah, De La Mort, I love this film. A lot of people find it pretentious, and I can see why, but it's so visually stunning to watch. Yeah, I love it. Next, I watched District 9. This is a science fiction movie. There is this alien species that crash lands on Earth. Did they crash? Or are they? There's the mothership's still in space, I think. But anyway, they're stuck on Earth. They can't get away, and it does not paint humanity in a particularly good light. Because these creatures, they act very different to us, they look very different to us. And it follows this government worker in the Johannesburg slums where this species has been allowed to live. But they decide, human beings actually decide well, we don't want them this close to us anymore, so we're going to move them further away. And this guy, he's tasked with taking charge of that and moving them to slums that are even worse. But during that process, he becomes infected and starts to change, and the way he is treated also begins to change, and it's like a race for him to get changed back to a human being. But yeah, it is a really, really good sci-fi. Like I said, it doesn't paint the human race in a particularly good light, but I would recommend watching it. Let me check my letterbox. What did I watch next? Next I watched One Missed Call 2. So this is more of the same really as the first one. People start receiving these voice messages where they hear the sound of their own death. The timestamp on their phone tells them, you know, what time and what day they're going to die. And then once they die, the call gets passed to everybody in their phone book. The second one follows this reporter who goes to Taiwan to try and discover the source of the curse and put an end to it. It was fairly entertaining. I enjoy these films anyway. I mean, there is generally more of the same, but I always get a kick out of them. So yeah, One Missed Call 2. Next, I went back onto Netflix. I'm not having luck with Netflix. There's got to be some really good films on there because everybody loves it, but I just choose duds, I guess. I watched Polar. I was looking forward to it. The trailer looked really, really good. It starred Mads Mikkelsen, which is basically the only redeeming feature of the film. He plays this assassin who is about to retire, but then the company that he works for are taking out the assassins that are retiring rather than paying them the money that they're owed. So he has been sort of siphoning off his money over, you know, the years, and he goes off grid basically, but they discover him. The thing is, it was like it had been written by a teenage boy. It was just puerile. I would not recommend it at all. I gave it 1 star purely because it had Mads Mikkelsen in, but it was absolute trash. Do not watch. Next I watched Solo, a Star Wars story. This is the story of Han Solo, basically, as he was becoming who he became. This is it was okay. It was alright. It was the worst Star Wars film in the whole series, but it's fairly watchable. I think the kids enjoyed it. So that was that one. So I've watched all of the Star Wars films now, I believe. So we're going to move on to the series. Very exciting. Next, I watched The Unborn. This follows this girl. She's late teens, I think. Late teens, early 20s sort of age. I think she's at uni. And she's babysitting one night, and something weird happens. After that, she starts seeing and hearing lots of weird things. She starts delving into her own past and the past of her mother, and discovers that there are some secrets that have been buried that are trying to be unsurfaced. I enjoyed it. I liked the effects in it. It was really cool. I'd recommend this one. It's not like the greatest film you'll ever see, but it's really, really entertaining. Well worth a watch. Next, I watched Colin. This is a zombie film from, I want to say early 2000s. Does it tell me here? 2008. I'd always been intrigued by this one. I remember when it first came out that there was a big thing about it because it was filmed on a, well, like on zero budget pretty much. It's like £45 it says on the front here. And I remember that was like a big, oh wow, somebody could make a film for this amount. So I've always sort of wanted to see it and see what sort of job they did. So this follows Colin. The beginning of the film You see him sort of returning home fully human, and then you find out he's been bit, and you see him when he reanimates as a zombie, and it just follows his progress through the city, and the things that happen to him. It was shot on mobile phones clearly, and I've got to be honest, for a good chunk of the film I couldn't look at it because it was shaking so much that it genuinely made me feel a bit sick. I'm glad I watched it, but it's not for me. I'm putting it on my zombies to go pile. But yeah, Colin. Next, I watched a Tartan DVD that I picked up from a charity shop, and a bit of a departure for me on the sort of films that I normally watch. It was The Proposition, and it stars Guy Pearce, Ray Winstone, John Hurt. People really raved about this when I showed it in my pickups video, and I can see why. It was really, really beautifully shot. The acting was brilliant. So it's about these three brothers. One of them is really, really nasty piece of work, like psychotic. The other one's just a guy, I guess, and the youngest one is learning impaired, shall we say. That's not the right way to say it, is it? You know what I mean. He's an innocent. This sheriff gives the middle brother an ultimatum. He has the youngest brother under arrest, and he's going to execute him if the middle brother doesn't find the older one and kill him. So off he goes on his travels, and you follow that. It was a really, really well done film. I will never watch it again, but I'm going to give it to my dad. I think my dad would really like it. So yeah, well worth a watch, but just, I've seen it now, and I can't imagine ever picking it up again. But yeah. I like trash. I like trashy films. They're the ones that I go back to again and again and again. I don't want your good films. God, who do you think I am? Next, I watched Season of the Witch. This has Nicolas Cage and Ron Perlman. They're kind of disgraced crusaders, and they are given a chance at redemption when they're tasked with taking this witch to trial, I think, something like that. But Nicolas Cage believes that she is innocent, but then weird stuff starts happening. It is really good. Lots of action, you know, lots of hitting. I'm easily entertained, really. I enjoyed that one. Next, I watched the first Tremors film. I think this is actually the only Tremors film I've ever seen before. So it was so much fun watching this. I can't wait to carry on with the series. So I've got the first 4 films on this set. So I'm going to carry on with that. That's brilliant. Next, I watched... something wrong with me. I watched Plughead Rewired Circuitry Man 2. Unfortunately, Sleep Stalker didn't work, which was the other one that I bought it for. But I won't be keeping it anyway. Plughead Rewired was not... shockingly, it wasn't a good film. And I can't even really tell you what it was about. It was very convoluted nonsense. He's like almost like a gangstery type figure. And there's this FBI woman going after him, and a doctor or psychiatric patient or so. I don't know. I don't know what it was about, but I watched it. And then I watched Fackham Hall. I think this was written by Jimmy Carr, who is such a funny comedian. I really like Jimmy Carr, and I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. It was a lot of fun. The humour in it was kind of immature, and yeah, it's just up my street, really. Next, I watched It. I have seen this one before, but it was a long time ago. I haven't seen the second part yet, so I'll need to get on that soon. But yeah, you know what it's about. Next, I watched this one, Scream Queen. I was so excited to pick this one up. And it is a lovely, lovely set that I got here. It's got all these cool things in it. And it stars Linnea Quigley. So it's about this movie that was being made, a horror movie with Linnea Quigley in it, who she plays, oh, what's her name in it? It was something ridiculous. Militia Toombs is the name of the actress Linnea Quigley plays, but during the filming she gets murdered. A year later, all of the people involved in the filming are invited to her old home to make the film, to finish making the film. But then they all start getting picked off one by one. You know, sometimes you can see why films weren't released before. It was not the best made film I've ever seen. Low budget is an understatement, but I mean, my husband said it was just absolutely awful, and I've not told him that how much I paid for it. But I am definitely keeping it in my collection. I had a blast watching this rubbish. And in fact, so did he. We spent quite a lot of time reenacting all of the death scenes. And in fact, this was in February that we watched this, and we still reenact the death scenes. So I think it was well worth the money. This has made it into like our day-to-day running jokes. So I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say go out of your way to get it unless you are a really big Linnea Quigley fan, which I love Linnea Quigley. But otherwise, probably see if you can watch it some other way first. But yeah, it was fun for me. Then I watched Jonah Hex, which has John Malkovich, who's always awesome, Josh Brolin and Megan Fox. So Jonah Hex is like a Western, not superhero movie, that's the wrong word, but that sort of thing. So he's essentially immortal, and he can bring people back from the dead and question them. And his family was killed by this guy, John Malkovich's character, and so he is going after him. It was stupid, actiony nonsense, and just what I needed on the night. I wouldn't by any measure call it like it's not a great film, but it was entertaining enough. And then something that I find myself watching quite regularly, Land of the Dead. It's not my favourite Romero film, or even my favourite Romero zombie film, but I do I find myself putting it on quite a lot. It's like a comfort movie for me now. I really enjoy it. So yeah, I watched that again because I got it as part of that set and I couldn't resist. I remember the day that I unboxed that set. It was the Vinted haul. And I said to myself, right, I'm not watching Land of the Dead again because I literally have just watched it like a couple of months ago. And that very same night I put Land of the Dead on because I'm a sucker for it. So those are all of the films that I watched in February. Let me know if you have watched any of these and what you thought of them. And also if you've got any recommendations for me based on the sort of rubbish that I like to watch, do let me know. So yeah, let's have a chat in the comments, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.